Good morning, good day, and good evening. I'm, as always, your host, Brodie Robertson. Today, we're actually back for another Linux episode. We don't usually do those, at least for the past couple of weeks. We had a bunch of game devs on, but we're back for them. Now, I don't know how many of you guys would have seen this, because it hasn't really had much in the way of tech-ish sort of coverage, but there was recently a proposal to take the existing Linux events like GUADEC and Akademy and sort of merge them together. And today we have the people on who proposed this idea and here to talk about it and why it happened and just all around why this is a thing that exists. Welcome, both of you. Whoever wants to go first, pick someone. Feel free to introduce yourself.
I let Mauro go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Thank you. Thank you for having us. My name is Mauro. I'm Italian. I live in Switzerland. I work for Canonical, but today I'm here to talk as a random guy from the internet. This is our idea as two individuals. And yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolute pleasure.
I'm Pietro, GNOME Foundation member and owner of a software development company. But as Mauro, I'm not here representing any of my memberships. I'm here as Pietro, a community member and enthusiast of this Linux ecosystem.
So, since a lot of people probably haven't seen the proposal yet, I'm considering that Phoronix seems to cover every single thing that happens. I'm surprised that there wasn't a Phoronix article. I'm surprised no one's really even mentioned that this was a thing that was being proposed. Just what is being proposed for anyone who's completely out of the loop?
I'll take this, Mauro, if you want. Given that me and Mauro participate to this kind of events, multiple events, not only those who are more near to our daily world. I mean, I don't participate only to GUADEC as a GNOME member, and Mauro doesn't participate only to the Ubuntu conferences as a Canonical member. We like these conferences. We've been to many of these conferences, and our minds like to study what we see and what we do. So we have been just chatting together, talking together while looking people around, and we said, what's happening is very nice, but what if? And this what if brought in the discussion how the communities share ideas and goals and still be so spread and separated. So there are many communities with the same goal, everyone working on their own to reach that goal without really working together to make it easier to reach these goals. So we started imagining a more unified yearly conference that brings together multiple desktop communities, starting from GNOME and KDE with the GUADEC conference and the Akademy conference, because are the two projects and ecosystems we know better. The general idea, and this is stated in the document you mentioned, is not only to take these two communities more together, is to take all the desktop communities more together, to help everyone and to reach these goals in an easier way. So we already have the GUADEC conference, that is the yearly GNOME Foundation conference. We have Akademy, that is the yearly KDE Foundations conference. And we have Linux App Summit, LAS, that is already a merged conference between GNOME and KDE. So we have 3 yearly conferences where the common one is more focused on applications, on development and local communities rather than on the general project discussion, but is also the smaller one of the 3. While in the idea we had, we could push more on this kind of unified conference and make it bigger and available to more people, spreading more these projects
So
to bring more users in it.
So as it currently stands, there is a unified conference, but it's a small conference, and the larger conferences, they're kind of these, I guess, siloed ecosystems where, you know, you're not going to have a lot of GNOME people going to Akademy. You're not going to have a lot of Akademy I'm sure there is some crossover. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure people go to both. But if you're a GNOME person and you're going to one conference that year, you're probably going to GUADEC. If you're a KDE person, you're probably going to Akademy.
Correct. And I know people who travels at least 2, but also 3 times a year to participate to all the conferences. And yeah, like Mauro, that, for example, Mauro from Switzerland is maybe, let me say, less problematic because as these conferences are happening in Europe, is not that hard.
I'm over in Australia.
You are from Australia. We have participants from the United States, from South America.
I lived in Taiwan. I lived in Taiwan for 18 years. I just recently moved to Switzerland. So I know very well how tiring, expensive, and actually draining overall is to just go there. It's maybe not as bad as for Brody, but it used to take me 23 hours from my home in Taiwan to get to the hotel near the conference in Europe, right? And then you are, you need a day to kind of recover, adjust, right? Then you do the conference, which is usually very exciting and very tiring, and then the worst part is then you also have to go back and then recover and then go back to work, which is basically at the very least 1 week, if not 10 days of not being out and tired. And I'm not even talking about the airfare right prices, which for Brody must be absolutely something that people cannot ignore. Let's say that.
Yeah, let's find out. Where did the latest GUADEC happen, for example?
Look for a flight to Milan.
Adelaide to Milan.
GUADEC was in Brescia, that is 100 kilometers from Milan, and Akademy was in Berlin. So you can check the two.
The cheapest is $1,400 Australian dollars. It's a 25-hour flight. Yeah, so a little bit of a distance.
And if you have to choose to which conferences to go, maybe if you can afford it, probably you do one.
Right.
Anyway. Not even 2, probably.
Yeah.
Or you are part of the staff and you have a different interest in participating, but as an attendee that is just there for the fun of being there, what are the chances you go to more than one conference in Europe?
Right.
Or as an Australian, anywhere? Because even in Asia, for you is different, but is not that much different.
Yeah.
When I was in Taiwan, I was working there, not for Canonical. One of my colleagues say, "Hey, we should go to Australia. It's very close." And I'm in Taiwan, right? It's very close, and it's like 10 hours. I'm like, wow, these people, very, very close is 10 hours. So, wow.
Yeah, the other problem that we have here is even local flights are kind of expensive depending on where you go, just because there's no one lives here, right? So there's just not the same sort of economy of scale.
Okay.
Makes sense. But yes, this was part of this. If you want, Pietro, I can continue a little bit. And we were just riffing and chatting, and we had this idea, and we thought, okay, let's keep going. These ideas are easy, and implementations are difficult. And we thought, let's see if we can take this a step beyond just an idea. Otherwise, it's an idea here. In 20 years from now, we will still have this idea in our minds, and it never goes anywhere. So that's what we did. We wanted to show that, okay, we have an idea. We'll turn it into a plan, right? A concrete plan, and start a discussion with something written down, which is less vague and more precise, and show that we are not here to be opinionated and let you do all the work. Instead, we are here to, yes, maybe a little bit opinionated, but we are absolutely here to contribute, which is, the spirit of open source. We say, okay, this is our idea. We'll transform it into a plan, and we'll offer our help. Like, if you would like to explore this idea or make it into a reality, we're going to help. It's two of us, but perhaps if it becomes something, perhaps we can inspire other people to, jump on this and help out. This is like the core messages that we wanted to send. And it's not a critique of what these groups are doing today. This is our idea and plan to, from our point of view, improve things and show the spirit of collaboration in open source, and show that these communities are actually part of the larger free open source and Linux community. And there's a lot of extremely good people here, and we can perhaps help bring things together, and different point of views, different experiences, different like technical ideas, different skill sets. So perhaps something can come out of this when you put, not the same usual group, and you put some external people. Sometimes good things can happen. So, and that's one aspect. And the other aspect, as Pietro already mentioned, is about, I think we are both big fans of efficiency. For the reasons that Pietro already mentioned, right? If you can travel once, why not to travel once and potentially get a lot more bang for your buck as an attendee? And for an organizer, potentially, if there's more people attending, maybe somebody came because, it looks like a good event, it looks like a fun event. Maybe they don't care about GNOME, but now they come and they say, oh, these people are actually pretty cool. Oh, let's have a look, right? So those were the more, a few of the motivations from us. Pietro, do you want to add something?
Yeah, sorry. About the efficiency, I would like also to add all those communities, all those projects care a lot, and I agree, care a lot about the environment. There are documents about, at least in GNOME, there is a document about what to care when preparing a conference. So For example, we talk about using buildings with renewable energy or use disposable, compostable stuff for the food and the drinks. But then we don't talk about the environment impact of having 3 flights a year.
Right.
So it's not only a matter of the conference efficiency itself. It's not only a matter of having people spend less time in flights. It's also a matter of environmental impact. Every year, the conference have to buy stuff, and this is mentioned in the document, have to buy stuff that is thrown away just because they are not good for the next conference.
Right. So
I have here in
you
my
might
office,
buy extra resources that would go bad, but you can keep cups and stuff around, but if you had bought food for the conference, then very likely that's going to be gone by the time, next one rolls around.
Yeah, but for example, I have here in my office 3 3 banners for this year's conference. Okay, the thing itself, the vinyl film is printed. Okay, but the structure, the aluminum structure, is destined to the garbage. Because next year, as the conference is not anymore in Brescia, is somewhere else where someone is proposing, in that place, the full structure is going to be bought again, because I'm not going to be there with my structure, with the structure we already bought, let's say in time or in a cost-efficient way, because we would need to ship them to use them. So what is more cheap, to the cheapest option? To produce them again here in Brescia and ship to the next city, and then who is there, ship to the next city, and then ship to or buy them from scratch at the local place. And this is waste. Every time this is waste. And this is part of the, let's say, other side of the proposal of stop moving the conference, but establish it in a single place. We proposed Brescia for a single reason. Well, 2 reasons. One, the feedback of this year's GUADEC has been very positive about the venue, the town, the transport. Generally had a very positive feedback.
What event hall was it hosted at? Just so I can show a picture of it.
Sorry, could you repeat?
Where was the event actually hosted?
Was in the University of Brescia,
Okay, awesome.
the public University of Brescia.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Sorry, keep going.
No worry. If you need any link, reference, or whatever later, just ask. No worries.
Easy.
And so there has been a positive feedback, meaning if we repeat it there, everything should be okay for everyone. And secondly, not least important, but maybe more important, as all these events are organized by volunteers, in Brescia, I can guarantee I can help personally, and I'm willing to help personally. If we change a town for whatever reason, I personally cannot guarantee to be able to help, because if it is in Milano, that is 1 hour from here, okay, I have some chance to help. Not in the same way, but I have some chance to help. If it is in Berlin, how can I help? So the next question is, who is going to help efficiently and with the effort that is required to organize something like that? So don't take the proposal to host it in Brescia as a real personal thing. I absolutely want it in Brescia. Is linked to these 2 reasons and only to these 2 reasons. I'm happy with whatever location is chosen. I cannot help if it is not near me. That's the only point. So publishing a proposal, we used references and proposed things that we are sure, and I mean me and Mauro, are sure we can help with. We don't pretend it to be exactly like we proposed. This is where we are confident. It's published openly to accept every kind of comment, every kind of opinion, every kind of suggestion. Feel free to suggest, to propose, to say whatever you want to say. We are here to listen and to help.
Mm-hmm. So for anyone who hasn't been to GUADEC, I assume Akademy also uses the roaming model as well? Yeah.
Yes.
So for anyone who's not been to one of these events, they don't have a set location like, say, I don't know, PAX if you like gaming conferences, or most other like pick a conference. Most conferences have like a set location. Maybe they change event hall. Maybe they get bigger or smaller. They go between different like halls in that area, but it'll usually be in the same city. But with GUADEC and with Akademy, most years, I assume there maybe have been some years where it's been in the same country, but most years it'll be a different location every single time, which then also puts you in a situation where maybe the quality of the event is going to differ because the people who are running it may not have as much experience running events.
Absolutely correct.
And that's not to say that,
Absolutely
they
correct.
can't learn or it's going to be a bad event, but like changing event staff every single year is naturally going to cause issues.
Absolutely.
There are very few people
that
that are fixed. Yeah, sorry. There are very few people that are fixed staff and are employed by the two foundations.
Right.
But those are not organizing the event in their town. They are helping the volunteers to organize, to manage the budget, to do all the high-level organization thing, to organize the schedule, to contact people.
Mm-hmm.
But for example, the volunteer, at least for GUADEC and LAS, Mauro is more expert than me in Akademy, the volunteer has to contact the sponsors too.
Right.
The volunteer is in charge of gathering sponsorship.
Right.
Sorry, Mauro.
I just wanted to reinforce what Brody just said about roaming model. And in a perfect world, it makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, right? We want to go around the world. We want to enable anyone who doesn't have perhaps the means to fly internationally for family, work,
Whatever reason.
money, right? It makes sense. We want to nurture the local communities of, their projects that are there and show them that we care about it. It's a beautiful concept in a perfect world.
Sure.
Sadly, I don't live in a perfect world. And when you put it into the real world, then it creates a lot of additional stress, time, and money needed to get it done at the level that you want. And sometimes you can't, and sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. So every time this happens, an event needs to file open bids for finding the venue. And it takes time, it takes stress. You need to go around and ask volunteers, ask people. It's time, right? It takes time. Maybe you don't find it in a place that is good for your goals, because you're trying to put together so many things that need to be just right at the same time, while the clock is ticking, because the next event, you can't just start skipping, this year and then next year, and then people don't care anymore, right? So there's a lot of additional stress and work required. And while I really agree with the fact that the local communities are enabled, what are the main goals of the event, right? We can't win everything. And if you take as example, I will take two of the largest, most successful free and open source events that happen in the world. FOSDEM in Europe and Scale in the United States, what do they have in common? They never moved in like 20 plus years. You build, like, most humans are creatures of habit. Adults have responsibilities, right? Most likely jobs, some have families. It's very helpful if you say, the first week of February every year, I go to Brussels for FOSDEM. Hey, wife, and you don't even need to ask, or husband, or companion, or employer. Yes, you need to take the week off because you're going to, right? It's a thing that you can predict. It's not like last minute say, oh my God, where are we going this year? Is it here? Ooh, well, how do I get there? Not everyone is a season traveler. Like, oh, which airline? How do I go? Do I need a train? Where's the hotel? What languages do they speak? Because, well, especially in Europe.
Visas.
Right? Yeah. And so by building a familiarity and a predictability together with all the efficiencies that we mentioned, we think it can be good for the event itself. Yeah.
There's two more things that
Sorry, can I add just one little thing?
Go ahead.
Currently, in these events, we have many attendees that are working for companies that are already sponsoring these events.
Right.
So when talking to these attendees, they like the roaming model because they don't face the issue of organizing the attendance based on work constraints or family constraints.
Right.
Indeed, we lost almost all the users in these conferences. The U of GUADEC means users, and we don't see them that much anymore. The model we are proposing, we believe, would help in gathering again users to these conferences. Because maybe this year we announced that the conference is going to be, we proposed in June, blah, blah, blah. It is not a fixed proposal. Again, everyone could say something. Maybe they are not able to join next year because we are announcing it too late. But once we state, okay, from this moment, it's going to be every year in this location, in this moment of the year, they know as a users that they have to prepare for the year after for that moment of the year. And they can prepare it, they can check the flight cost, hotel cost, they can wait for offers, they can ask to the employer, they can do whatever they need to do because they know with more than 1 year in advance where they want to be at that point of the year. Right now, we don't have a date and location both for LAS and GUADEC. LAS should happen in spring.
But does GUADEC move a lot as well with the time? I didn't know that.
It's usually in July, but doesn't have a fixed moment. It could be in June, it could be in July, it could be in August, but you don't know the exact dates. You don't know them, both for GUADEC and LAS. And now, mid-September, LAS should happen this spring in March, but we don't have dates and we don't have a location. And we don't know when this is going to be published because in this moment, there is no freaking idea.
How long do you...
So how many people is going to
find
join?
Out?
I'm sorry?
How long before the event do the dates usually get published?
Technically, the last day of the event, you announce the dates and location of the following year.
Okay.
This year did happen for both GUADEC and LAS. I couldn't join Academy. Mauro should have joined it, but he was sick due to the previous conference travel and wasn't able to go there. I didn't check, honestly, if anything has been published. Also because officially is still running the event. The main event is completed, but it's still running.
Sure.
But yet, usually you know it more or less 1 year in advance. But it's not guaranteed.
Right. So, two things I wanted to add that I didn't before. One is when you have a set location, you have the ability to build a much stronger volunteer community because you know that it's always going to be there. So every year you can advertise volunteers. The volunteers from the prior year can come back. They can bring new people in, and you can build up. You can slowly build up a bigger event with more people that are helping out because you're not just, getting rid of that entire group every single time, and then maybe 5 years from now it's back in that area. Maybe by that time they've moved on with other things and they can't help out now. So it's like you're kind of resetting every time. You have that core volunteer that's always going to be able to do it, but maybe you have people that will just want to help out 1 year, or they can't do it every single time. So you lose out on that ability to really build that base that helps out. And the other thing is, when you're trying to find sponsors, it's a lot harder to find sponsors when they don't know what the size of the event is going to be because it's going to be in a different location. And if it's a local sponsor, well, you kind of need to build those relationships with them. And if it's always going to be moving, it's a lot harder to do that.
Yeah. And the press.
Yeah.
This year we have been able to have good press coverage. We have been on different newspapers. We have been on our radio. We've been on different social medias. But don't take these like I want to highlight myself, please. This happened because I wanted it.
Right.
This happened because I hired a journalist to help me to do the communication, to contact the newspapers, to do all this job. I invested personally, like a donation to the conference, to do that. And is 100% volunteering in time and money in the specific case, but is 100% volunteering. This is not going to happen in every edition. And indeed, like you said, also the volunteers to help during the conference, it's hard to find a new team every year in a different location. And about the sponsors, they look to numbers, 200% correct. They look to numbers. And they also look to how many events they have to sponsor. Because if you go to Canonical and say, Mauro, do you want to sponsor GUADEC the month after? Mauro, do you want to sponsor LAS the month after? Mauro, do you want to sponsor Akademy? Canonical has a budget. Red Hat has a budget. Igalia has a budget. Everyone has a budget. And it changes every year. Could be in positive, could be in negative. So, and those companies are covering the sponsorship of the event itself, to have their logo, to have their booth, to have their whatever. Plus, they are covering the travel costs to all the employees that are participating to the conference. So it's not only a matter of sponsorship allowance to the conference. The expenses to check are wider. So we believe that if we go to multiple sponsors to say, hey, we give you one bigger conference with all those perks and all those promises, will you give us a bigger allowance knowing we are not going to come back to you asking to sponsor also this and that because those are merged all together? We believe that the sponsors are going to see that we are maybe asking a bigger sponsorship amount for the package, but they have less travel, less time spent, less general expenses, and a bigger result. And they are going to be happy about that. So, and this helps growing the conference, that then helps growing the communities, and helps gathering new members, new users, new contributors, new coverage.
Mm-hmm.
This is the travel we did in our mind.
The dream.
Yeah, it's the dream that is. Didn't only dream about it. We already made the travel to the goal. Mentally, we are already at the goal. When we
Are we
wrote,
there yet? Pietro, are we there yet?
we published the proposal.
Yes.
The next step is on the communities to comment. Some already did, both on Mastodon and the discourse instances of the two communities. And then we need feedback from the two boards, from the GNOME board and the KDE board. We don't have it yet. So mentally, we are there. Physically, something still needs to be done. What many don't know is that, and I'm not talking only about this proposal, I'm talking about conferences in general. What many don't know is that companies close the next year budget in September, October. So you can go to the sponsors in January saying, hey, I'm preparing this conference. Will you sponsor me? I personally did this mistake this year because I didn't use the correct window to ask sponsorships. And I missed some because I asked them in January. Because when I asked them in August was too early. In January was already too late. December, January was too late.
Right.
You have to ask them between mid-September, maximum mid-November. You have to hit that window, or you will have a no just because you are not in the correct time frame. So taking decisions too late in the year makes you destroy the dream.
Right. So
whichever conference you prepare.
So assuming that everyone just agreed to everything, yesterday, best case scenario would be a 2027. But right now you haven't even got any feedback from the board. So, you'd likely be a 2028, 2029 conference if this does go ahead.
In this moment, we are in time for 2026.
Okay.
If we wait 1 month more, we may try. Hard, very hard, but we may try. But it's likely going to go to 2027. And here, another thing jumps in. 2026 is 30 years of KDE. 2027 is 30 years of GNOME.
Right.
So, if we skip 2026, we will have to skip 2027.
And
because for sure the communities will say KDE had their 30 birthday on their own.
Yeah.
We want our on our own. And it's not, and it's purely a community thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just they start the project started so close to each other. It's just a really awkward timing to be doing a change like this.
Yeah, I don't want to say it's wrong. I just want to say it's purely a community thing. It's not about conference or foundations or whatever. It's a community thing. So I understand that KDE maybe doesn't want to be the first making this change, but we took care of that, and is stated in the document. As a unified conference, we want to celebrate these kind of events. We want to provide a dedicated space, dedicated moment, dedicated allowance for the budget. We want to give space to this kind of celebration. We don't want to say, hey, KDE, next year you will not have your space for your birthday because we want to do the unified conference. No, we want to bring more people to the celebration. Because then it's not only KDE participating, it's everyone that wants to be there. So we see it positive. And I understand that as not members of a single community, we see things a bit different than who is only in one of those projects. But we are trying to share our view.
Yeah, and we're trying to help.
Absolutely.
One thing that is worth noting that I think a lot of people probably don't even know is there actually was a joint conference at one point back in 2011. Yes, 2011.
And 2013.
They had the Desktop Summit, which was... It wasn't a singular event. It was both GUADEC and Akademy happening at the same time in the same location. So they kind of just created this mega event based off the two of them. And like,
correct.
So this is not like an idea that is completely alien that nobody has discussed before. This is something that has happened. It's just turning this into a consistent thing that happens every single year.
I was not there. The comments I had from an organization point of view of that event is negative not because of the idea itself or the result itself, is purely about organization.
Right.
Because as GNOME was organizing the GUADEC part, KDE was organizing the Akademy part, but still sticking everything together. But there was no precise responsibility, and there was no global governance. Let's do something together. Again, I was not there. I'm saying this based on comments I've got. So don't take this as a fact. It didn't work. And I wrote on the discourse of KDE, it failed because there was no governance of the idea. While we propose to not have GNOME and KDE work together to make it happen, is to define an entity. I don't know the kind of the entity, but define an entity that has a group of people with the only goal of making the conference successful.
Right. So rather than having
every point of view.
Right. So the Desktop Summit was GUADEC and Akademy co-located, but it was just them in the same place doing their own separate thing. Whereas this would be, I assume the governance would probably have KDE people and GNOME people. You probably assign seats or however the model ends up looking, where the goal is to make this shared summit rather than do these two separate things where they just happen to be together.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I can understand how the original model would have went badly.
This goes back to what I said earlier about the community. It's not a bunch of people doing their own to reach the same goal without cooperating.
Right.
It's a bunch of people working together to reach the same goal, sharing the work, sharing the responsibility, and working together to make it easier. It's in the end a little community, let me say.
I just want to add one thing, if I can, Brody, for 1 second. I don't want this to be seen by anyone as negative. I want to say a few words. I mean, these groups, these communities, these people have been doing fantastic work forever, like since the beginning of Linux, and these groups are still there doing their best and working super hard. This is not a critique. This is a let's say, an opinion. People in open source have opinions.
Never. That
This
would
is
never
our
happen.
right. What a new thing! People have opinions here. This is our opinionated idea and plan to help both these communities and hopefully encourage other, perhaps even smaller desktop environment communities, which don't even actually have the means, the people, the money to even start thinking about doing an event. And perhaps we could encourage, I don't know, XFCE has also been doing fantastic work. I'm forever. There's so many, right? Cosmic, would you come out and play? I don't know, Budgie, would you come out and play? Insert here your desktop environment. And it could be, we already kind of defined broadly for now, ways where there's a clear definition, okay, who is a founding member, which means share responsibilities and people who will actually get, if any money is made out of the conference, that get to share the money, versus attending entities who are maybe I want to sponsor this, I don't have the people, I have the money, I can sponsor, and I come and I get a booth, like maybe Red Hat, Canonical, SUSE, something like this. So we already put these things in our document to clarify, otherwise it gets very confusing and very messy. We don't want that. And Pietro, that's his idea, to say perhaps if the event is successful, if it happens, and is successful, some of the money can be used to actually sponsor some of these smaller innovation, right? Small project, a small distro, small desktop environment, to say, listen, you're doing something cool, right? We like you. We would like to sponsor a couple of people from your project to also come here so that we can enable them to be part of the broader discussion.
Yeah, that's something we hadn't really. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, sorry. Two little things about the. I want to add a note about the. Mauro said we put in the document the foundation funding member and whatever. We mention in the public document a separated document that is the financial document that we shared only to the boards of the two foundations, right? Because it's a separated topic. Sure. That is purely economic management for the two foundations. So I just want to add, if you look for it, you will not find it. Just note that. And yes, about the sponsorship to the small projects, I've been a sponsored project in a bigger conference, and I really loved to be invited for a free booth in a big conference to show my project. Indeed, I want to invite small. Also, maybe we are not going to have the budget for the first year to sponsor the travel, but we want to give free booths to these projects. I want to invite also simply Lutris, for example, or this kind of project to say, hey, be there, show your product to the people, invite users to join. And the users are going to be there and find out projects they don't know just because they are walking there in the hall and there are booths around them. And I understand that projects like Lutris and similar can't afford to pay for a booth. No problem at all. You are a community project, keeping up. You are doing something great. Why you don't have to join? Join. We cover you at least for what we can. And in the future, maybe even more, I don't know.
Yeah, this interest in bringing in smaller desktops, smaller projects is really nice because, you know, it like GNOME and KDE are kind of like the big poster desktops of the Linux desktop, but they're not the only ones that exist. And providing this environment where you can celebrate the work that other people are doing as well, that just would never have the ability. Like, as much as XSC might be a good project, they're just not going to have the ability to run any sort of reasonable size conference. It's a fairly small desktop at this point, let alone, you know, smaller up and coming projects, or even just older projects that are just relatively small, like your budgies and things like that. Giving them the ability to also be represented in this celebration of Linux is a really cool thing, and this, I think, provides a lot more. You talked earlier about how GUADEC and Akademy kind of suffer from the fact that you don't really get users attending them. It's mainly just the developers go there to talk about developer things and meet up and discuss issues once a year and, you know, work on the community building on that side. But the users aren't, I'm sure some attend, but it's mainly developers. And building this thing where there is more than just GNOME and KDE and they're in the same location, there provides some reason for users to actually want to attend, to want to see what's going on in this ecosystem. And I don't know, I just generally think it creates a much stronger incentive for people to want to get involved, whether it's on the volunteer side or just generally going to the event when there's more the event provides.
Yeah, I was smiling because I was remembering something that actually, I think it was it Martin at GUADEC who proposed a name for the company? It was
I was thinking
hilarious.
the same thing.
I was giggling because he's like, we saw a moment where his eyes were like a spark, and he's like, oh my God, I have an idea. I give you a name. And it's like, we should call it, for example, the year, right? You put the year 2025, 2026, 2027. So 2026, year of the Linux Desktop Conference, and then it's 2027 and 2028, and it was like, oh my God, this is genius and hilarious. Might not happen, but very funny.
I wouldn't. I know the name. So what's the current working name that we're going with?
We kept Linux App Summit for two main reasons. It's an already known conference, maybe not as known as the other two, but it's an already known conference, both from attendees and sponsors, and has already a good marketing, let me say, a good branding from the website to the YouTube channel, is kind of ready to keep it up with this upgrade. While using a new or even resuming Desktop Summit, it's like starting from scratch.
I think Desktop Summit's also it. If it was Linux Desktop Summit, I could see it. Just Desktop Summit kind of just, it feels a bit too generic for people to really
whatever.
know.
Are you selling furniture in here?
Right.
Whatever. Nowadays, it's not known. So to start at least with the sharing the idea, we used something known, something where the two main foundations we are talking to are already working together because it's already a shared conference. So we used it as a base point. We don't pretend it to be the Linux App Summit. We don't pretend it to be in this way. It's a base point. From here, we can discuss. And people can discuss easily knowing what it is. Because if you look for Linux App Summit, you will find a lot of information. You will find an updated website. You will find content on YouTube. You will find everything. But if you look for the Linux Desktop Summit, what are you going to find? Something from 2013, maybe? So was not working.
Right. So would the idea here be to, I guess, those other summits are just not, the other events are just not going to happen. Everything would just be this singular event. So everyone would work together on this core event rather than doing their own separate ones.
Yeah,
correct.
But they will have there will be different ways, and this is a technical implementation, so perhaps we don't need to discuss it too much. But
sure.
The core message is that it shouldn't be seen as a compromise, where basically people mind already think, oh, if it's a compromise, I need to give up something, right? Otherwise, we don't call it this word. It doesn't have to be, because you find a venue. I mean, these venues, especially the university that we were in Brescia, they're big, they're huge. How much space do you want? Like, they give you the space that you need. So if the idea is accepted, but we want to maintain our identity because XYZ, and we have a lot of stuff that is, let's say, the GNOME track, it's not particularly the preference, but again, we're here to collaborate. If they say, yes, let's do it, but we want the KDE track in the KDE room, and the GNOME track in the GNOME room, but of course it's the same venue, and everyone is open to join any talk. Sure, hopefully it evolves, because as many projects join, we don't want 40 tracks.
Right.
Like FOSS, it becomes a little bit crazy to manage.
And I say that I would like to see a mixed track, so not this kind of separation, not to remove the identity, but really to mix the communities.
Right.
But the idea, for example, that could be a good acceptable, instead of calling it a track, which implies you're kind of almost a collocated event-ish kind of thing, it could be a topic, right? And then we can put timetables and rooms in a way that makes sense for the success of the event, right? One person might come only for one day. We should try to make sure that if they come for one day, we're not forcing them to come for 2 days, because half of the talks are today and half of tomorrow in a certain, let's say, foundational Linux, more related to this. But it could be a topic, a tag in the timetable to say, hey, this is mostly GTK, this is mostly Qt, this is mostly, right? And if it's a KDE talk, it's very likely that anyone else who is doing, I don't know, LXQT, for example, comes to mind. Or if it's a GNOME thing, it's most likely that it's about GTK related. Therefore, it can be interesting for XFC, Cinnamon, Budgie, etc. So if we tag things instead of siloing them, we maintain the identity. At the same time, we open the door and say, hey, right, we want
Why someone should not be interested on listening to talks from a different community? Why someone should be stuck in a X dedicated track and not listen to the other community that for sure has interesting things to say? Why not have a room where it's mixed so you can get from everyone? Because I find absurd that a GNOME developer or KDE developer is absolutely not interested in listening to something from other projects.
Right.
Maybe they find new ideas. Maybe they say, oh, I could use that. Or I could help in that. Or we can discuss in making something together or similar or whatever. So as a developer, usually you are interested in finding more. So this is why, okay, the KDE track, okay, but why not try to get more people in your track, making it a topic that happens in a room?
And by not having it be necessarily the KDE track or the GNOME track, it also creates this sort of, I guess, encouragement for cross-desktop talks, where you might have some discussion where it's like, I don't know, integration of Rust into the Linux desktop, and you have a KDE and a GNOME person doing the talk together, rather than just, hey, we're talking about, Rust in KDE, right? It gives you the ability to sort of foster these relationships across the desktops, rather than just having them, again, be siloed into their own separate communities.
Correct.
I agree. And I think it's from perhaps a broadest point of view, or content creator, press, I don't know, wouldn't it be more interesting to cover, right? There's a potential of having more engagement, more like wow moment. Wow, I need to cover this. It's not just sorry, I don't. Same old. They're doing their thing. These people are brainstorming here together, and they're helping each other. So I think that there's a potential of creating a self-feeding mechanism for growth by just sparking the interest of the content creators.
Yeah, this is a problem that I notice. So this is a bit of a side tangent. I think it's actually kind of important. A problem I notice with a lot of it's not just an Academy thing or a GUADEC thing. I feel like all of the conferences do this, where a lot of them don't separate. I think Academy started doing it now. Don't separate their talks out into separate talks. So you'll see like an 8-hour track get uploaded to YouTube, and it's just, okay, I don't know what happens in any of this without going and looking at the schedule. And it's like a minor thing, and being able to like cut those up. It's little things like that do make like my life considerably easier, because you can easily point someone to like, hey, here's this interesting talk. Here's this I don't know, Carl's talking about the Cosmic Desktop, for example, at some conference, and that makes it a lot easier. And then having these topics where it's not just going to be about a singular desktop, I think makes those all good. Makes those
He's rage quitting.
makes those individual talks considerably more interesting, right? Because I've heard GNOME people talk about GNOME things 1,000 times, or KDE people talk about KDE things, but having some Wayland is a like good middle ground that everyone kind of meets on. There's a lot of arguments that happen in Wayland, but it's something that everybody's involved in working in. So being able to hear the different perspectives from the different desktops in a way where it's not arguing about the implementation, it's, hey, we've come together here and we're going to discuss, how all of this fits together, why we're taking these different approaches, and giving people sort of this is one of the reasons I like doing this show. I like showing that there are actually people working in Linux. It's not just usernames. It's not just profile pictures. There are actually people involved in this. And I don't know, I think it really does help to humanize these projects and give people more of an insight into the fact that, that there's people who are doing this, and they're all doing really cool things. Even if you don't use their project, even if you don't agree with all of the choices they make, there are still people involved in doing this.
I think they are doing a fantastic job, and I also always like to do this. These people is wonderful people, and sometimes somebody, from the internet, you read a comment, you're busy, you see the reply, you take it, you don't know who this is, you might say, how dare this person say this? While if you talk to these people in person, you have more time to find out, you'll find out that all the people that I've met from both GNOME and KDE and many other projects have a really good heart and good intent. And it helps to know, you can kind of build a rapport, and that they mean well. And it's something that is very, very hard to do from a text line in a Git comment or a discourse forum. And I think you got that spot on.
Yeah, I think one of the things I would really hope the conference like this would be able to do is foster more of a collaborative relationship amongst the projects. Because I'm sure people don't necessarily hate each other, but you do see a lot of... I'm sure there's some people that hate each other. I'm not going to speak for everyone. But as like a general basis, most people, they're kind of just doing their own work, and a lot of the interaction that... If you're someone who develops KDE all day, every day, and someone else is a GNOME developer all day, every day, you're not going to really have that many chances to interact with people from these other projects. And providing this shared space where you can really just, get to know each other, have a beer or whatever, a juice, I don't know, whatever you feel like drinking, and really get to know each other from the other projects like you can already with your existing conferences. I would hope that would be able to ease some of the tension that does tend to arise in these cross-desktop discussions like, Wayland and places like that, where it can kind of feel sometimes like people just don't see each other's point of view because they don't really have a chance to interact with that point of view.
I'm sold. When do we start? Oh, we're doing it in Australia now? Oh.
Yeah, make it suck for everybody. The 5 Australian devs, we're doing great. Everyone else, enjoy your 30-hour flights.
Yep. Then we are going to stay there a month.
Hey, maybe that's a good thing.
Then it's going to be the month of the Linux desktop.
So right now, what is the proposed length you want to have the event go for?
I probably didn't get it.
The duration.
Yeah, the how long would you like the duration of the event to go for?
Currently, we proposed a week, maybe a little more than a week, like 9 days. In discussion, also in the proposal, we separated. I'm reading right now. It's 12 to 15 talks and keynotes, 16th trip day, 17th to 19th is BFS workshops and whatever. This is how it is. Almost how it is structured today. GUADEC and LIS Academy did a little bit different.
But similar. There is usually like a couple of days where the conference happens. Usually it's a weekend so that people who are not paid to work, they can go and attend. Like, so the more traditional talks and booths and what you expect. And then most of the attendees leave because, not many people can afford to stay 1 week or 10 days. And then it goes more into the, trainings and let's get things done, modality, so that the event for this group is not only feel good, I had a talk and achieve nothing, but they're actually doing stuff and training their new volunteers and doing workshops and things like that. So it's mirroring, at least in spirit, what these groups are already doing.
But we are thinking to a different model. Indeed, as not everyone can stay that long, we are thinking to finding a way to say, I don't know, 9 to 3 p.m., 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. is talks. 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. or whatever is workshops.
Right.
So to mix it in a way that also who can't afford to stay that long can enjoy the main workshops. So depending on the proposals, we may decide to put some workshop during the conference days, during the talks days, to allow more attendance. It's one of the challenges we have to make this happen. We are discussing some model. We didn't define any because we need to get feedback. We need to get proposals. Again, the document is a starting point. We needed to put a model, and we used the one we are using with small differences, like it's longer as we are merging events, so we have more to discuss, so it's longer. And difference from GUADEC, and this has been copied from Akademy. I copied it from Akademy. The trip day is in the middle because, for example, this year for GUADEC, who joined the trip day was only those who could afford to stay for the workshops, because was talk, workshops, trip day, and is more or less always the same for GUADEC. So this is one change I did because I didn't talk about it. I saw it, Academy doing it, and I said, oh, but it's a great idea. So I copied it and I said, we have to put the trip day in the middle, because who can't afford to stay that long maybe can afford to stay one day more and enjoy a community event. So we are considering all these things, we are checking all these things, and we are studying it.
So what has feedback been like at this point? And I guess, what's the feedback
Very
been like,
mixed.
maybe different from the GNOME and the KDE side?
Absolutely different between the two sides,
Right.
and absolutely mixed feelings. Also, a difference between the two communities, between private feedbacks and public feedbacks. I don't have a balance. I can't say on the two communities who is taking it more in a positive way and who is taking it more in a negative way. I really can't say. Not that I don't want.
But we knew
can't
it.
say.
Pietro
We
and
knew
I knew it when we had this idea and this discussion and this plan. We stopped there for a minute and we thought, ooh, like we're steering, like with, it's not the intent, but it's going to steer some trouble. Like, no, whenever you try to change something, you know that, it's very unlikely that 100% of the people will go, ooh, let's go, right? So we knew that it was not going to be easy, but I don't think that Pietro and I are in open source for doing easy things. So we thought, let's go, let's do it, let's be kind, let's do it in a positive way. And if it doesn't happen, hey, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I know
So
there is the GNOME discourse. Was the discussion with the KDE side done in private, or is there a public discussion for that one as well?
There is a cross-posting on the KDE discourse instance, so you will find exactly the same post there.
You didn't link it under your discussion. If you happen to have the link on hand, I would love to see that.
Yes, give me just a second. It's going to be this one.
Because I have your post pulled up right now on Mastodon, and there is the link to the GNOME discourse there, so I wasn't sure if that existed.
Probably I made a tweet about that one and not about the KDE one that I published later, because I thought, okay, I published it on the GNOME discourse. Could make sense to cross-post it. Even if it is a cross-posting, I thought could make sense to do it. And indeed, on the KDE one, you see more interaction on their discourse. You see a specific guy who commented a lot in an absolutely constructive way. I really, really appreciate their comment, because no one is criticizing without making it in a constructive discussion to say, hey, did you think about that? Did you consider that? I really, really liked the interaction there, and could be interesting for everyone to read that post. The one on the GNOME instance has some comment, is not as active as the KDE one. Still interesting, maybe. And on Mastodon, there has been some activity from community people. That's more hard interaction, let me say. What has been brought
It's social
is
media.
more... Yeah, exactly. Personally, I didn't have like discussions on Matrix with KDE community. I got some DM on Discourse. So still on probably on KDE side, that platform is preferred and I like it. On GNOME, has been easier for me as a GNOME member to get more in touch with GNOME members. So I've got the chance to talk with someone. I have to say, I spoke with people who reacted negatively to the general idea, saying, hey, why don't we merge it? Based on the experience, based on the communities. But then sitting and talking about the idea, more or less like we are doing, they said, oh, in this way, I like it. So I believe it's really a matter of wanting to know more and accepting to sit for a moment and try to read the document and get what we want to say without starting with the opinion, I'm that community and I want to be that community, period. These guys want to destroy it. No, try to sit, read it, think about it, imagine what it means, and then get back to us. You still not agree? Totally fine. But don't start with an opinion. Try to elaborate it.
Yeah, I initially read the proposal and I thought it was a good idea. I don't really get the idea of it being a like this is what I kind of understand where people are coming from, and I think this is a lot of the tension that's been allowed to grow between KDE and GNOME, where again, a lot of the people who are in the GNOME ecosystem don't interact with KDE people don't interact with GNOME people. So it's allowed people to sort of create these ideas in their head of what the other people are going to be like. You know, you can think of this for anything in the world. People are going to be tribal, whether it's a sports team, whether it's a desktop, a Linux distro. If you don't have this cross discussion, people are going to create their own ideas in their head of what these people are like.
Yes.
There's one example that I have, and I wasn't there, but I helped organize some of this. And actually, it happened at LAS, Linux App Summit a few years ago in Brno, I think. And there were discussions on, hey, this event is happening when actually Ubuntu is releasing. And Ubuntu was there with the booth. We should do something around it, like, you know, have some fun. And then we thought, oh, actually, Fedora is releasing the same week. So, and Fedora people are going to be there. Let's reach out to the Fedora people and see if they want to hang out together. It's the spirit of LAS to come together and talk about Linux as friends. Let's show the world that we don't hate each other and we're not fighting. It's a construct of the socials and in the internet. And so if you will find pictures on X for sure, I don't remember Mastodon, but there was a cake. And half of the cake was orange with Ubuntu logo. Half of the cake was blue with Fedora. And there were pictures of very happy people cutting the cake together and having fun together. So that's exactly the spirit that we would like to spotlight.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I wish it was a triangle with some SUSE, or maybe it becomes a very messy cake with too many colors, but hey, it's fine.
No, I fully agree with this, and I understand where you guys are coming from with this idea. I do hope that this can happen, and I hope that the people who do have issues with it can maybe get something of value out of listening to this and hearing what you guys are proposing here. It's not like you said, it's not trying to destroy what was done with GUADEC and Akademy. It's not trying to compromise between the two events and make them both worse, but have them happen together. It's about trying to, people say the Linux community, but there's not really a Linux community as it currently stands. There's a lot of individual sub-communities that all happen to use Linux, and we all share that thing in common. We all share the fact that, okay, there's some BSD people. Okay, fine. The BSD people can get involved as well. But most of us are using Linux. And, we care about free and open source software. There you go. There we go. There's our common point. We all care about free and open source software, and if you actually talk to people who are in these other projects, if you get involved with them, you realize that you share a lot of things in common, even if the method of getting to your goals are a little bit different.
Absolutely agree. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. I think we've covered most of what I wanted to cover anyway. If there's anything else you feel like we haven't really touched on that is kind of important, I've still got plenty of time, so I'm happy to go into anything we might have missed.
I think, from my point of view, we covered everything that I had to say. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Actually, there's one thing I do want to talk about. What I potentially worry about is one side feeling like they are, I guess, more of the event than the other, where, like, initially it's going to be a KDE and GNOME thing, and then you want to expand it out, but I do have some concern there will be tension there with, is the KDE side footing more of the bill? Is the GNOME side footing more of the bill? And I do worry there's going to be some at least initial growing pains trying to work out how to really properly manage an event like this.
That's why we created a specific document to ease, these groups, because, of course, being financially stable for these entities is extremely important. So we can't just pretend that we do it for the cause and you lose money out of this, because that's my point of view. If anything that you do is a cost, when you need to tighten the belt, well, what do you do? Cut the cost.
Mm-hmm.
If what you do brings money to your project, it starts and it sets the scene with a complete different outlook, right?
Mm-hmm.
That thing is bringing us money. So making some money out of an event is not a sin. We need to, right? We are here for free and open source software, yes, but I don't know, do you need to eat and have a roof? Yes, everyone does. Yes, projects like this, engineering time is expensive. Do we want them to succeed, yes or no? If the answer is yes, we need to enable them to be profitable in a sustainable way that, right, it will not be become an extreme money-making machine, but that makes these groups comfortable enough that they want to do it. It's not like, oh my gosh, I need to spend again, but it's like motivational. I don't know if Pietro has anything to add.
Yeah. Keep in mind that the main structure is, okay, we define this management entity that takes care of the conference from the organizational and economical point of view. The money goes through this entity. Once all the expenses are covered to make it a success, the extra money is shared to fund the projects with rules that are not defined in this moment. Don't ask, don't go in detail. But the idea is make it such a success to be able to fund the projects that are participating to the conference. So yes, there is going to be some friction, but with the proper structure, we can help everyone.
Well, I hope that discussions go well. I hope that this can happen because this genuinely sounds like it would be a really exciting event to go to and really exciting event to cover. And it could actually justify me spending the $2,000 to get there. I'm not, you know what? How much is it to get there?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
A question for you, but I want to use this space to raise this question to all the creators that are going to watch this and you may know. Will you, as a creator, join this event if it happens? Will you come and enjoy it and do some media coverage, some content? Would you like to be there? Let us know somewhere in Brody's comment section, on Mastodon, on Discourse, wherever you prefer. But we would really like to know and to hear from you about that. So if you want to answer live, feel free. If you want to answer later, feel free to do so. But we would really like to know.
Yeah, I would. I've wanted to go to some of these conferences, but it's just so hard for me to justify spending $1,500, $2,000 to go to one of these events for just a singular desktop. And like it's for me especially because I'm in Australia, it's just so hard to get anywhere. Like I'm sure it's a lot easier if you're, I don't know, you're in France, right? Going to Italy from France, I'm sure. How much is that? Let's find out. France to Italy.
Depends where. You could go by car, for example.
That's
if you're
true.
in the south of France, you go by car.
Right. A flight
I don't know,
from
the
Switzerland,
Netherlands or Sweden.
Right.
Or we got some guy from Sweden this year, for example. He's a GNOME fellow. But yeah, for sure it's easier from East Europe, from North Africa. It's for sure easier.
Somebody took a bus, right? I remember somebody took a Flixbus, and it was right. It's doable. Maybe not. Don't take a Flixbus from Australia to Italy.
We had people that don't fly because they are scared to fly, and they took a train from Germany.
Yeah.
For example, it's easier for sure.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, even for some creator from Australia or such kind of very far countries. And indeed, it will be one instead of three in this specific case.
I think that I would definitely love to do it. I don't know if I don't know about other people. Hopefully they would as well. And I hope this proposal goes well. I hope any tensions that are happening in private can be ironed out and this can happen. I know, of course, there are the 30 years of both projects coming up, so it's rough right now. I hope it happens in the next couple of years, but if I'm being completely honest, I don't really think it has any hope until after the 30-year anniversaries for both. Just like, I would like it to, but I don't think it's going to.
I
But
see what he's doing. He's teasing them to say, "We'll show him, that we can do it." Thanks, Brody.
Well, I can officially put Brody in the list of the content creators that are going to be there
you're
next
gonna
year.
write me down on
when
the
this
list. I'm definitely
is
gonna be there.
Going to happen. And this is going to happen next year, so you are in list, correct?
For sure. If you can manage to make it happen next year, I would be genuinely impressed. But I'll leave a link to the document in the description down below. I'll leave a link to both the discourse discussions as well. If anyone from the KDE EV or GNOME Foundation wants to reach out to you directly, I'm sure they are able to do so. I'm sure you have some private discussions open with their organizations as well, though.
Some ways we are connected to everyone. Me or Mauro, we are connected to everyone. So yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you would like to direct people to?
I believe we covered everything.
I mean, I would like people to go and check those posts and share their opinions. I'm sure there will be many opinions, and we welcome constructive criticism. And that's it.
Awesome. Let me add a little thing. I got comments on Mastodon about people saying, "Oh, I'm only a user, I'm only an attendee, I'm not a maintainer or member of the foundation of the projects." Doesn't matter if you are not. It matters if you comment as an user, as a simple participant. It really matters. It is important. So everyone should feel free to comment, whichever is their idea. Feel free to comment. Help us to build a general idea and to get feedback. Even if you are not a developer, maybe it's better if you're not a developer.
Awesome.
So
yeah,
thank you, Brody. Thank you to whoever stayed with us till this point. For me, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, same. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I love having both of you on. I guess I'll do my outro and then we'll sign off. If that's good for you.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. My main channel is Brody Robertson. I do Linux videos there 6-ish days a week. I sometimes stream there as well. I might do something for the Cosmic Beta. Probably do something for Cosmic Beta. Check that out. I've got the gaming channel, Brody on Games. Right now I'll be playing through Hollow Knight Silksong and Yakuza 6. The podcast, if you're watching it on YouTube, you can find it on every podcast platform. Search Tech Over Tea. If you'd like to find it on YouTube, Tech Over Tea again. Tech Over Tea once again. You'd think by this point I'd know how to do my outro. I've done it enough times at this point. So I'll give you guys the final word. How do you want to sign us off? What do you want to say?
What do you want to say, Mauro?
I want to say thank you, Brody, and thank you, everyone, for having us. I hope we can speak soon.
Hopefully we have good news.
Can you say by doing a step back showing better the t-shirt? Thank you, Mauro.
Thank you.
Awesome.